Honorable, can you hear me? Okay. Our audience today, thank you very much for honoring our invitation. We can't thank you enough for coming today. We want to just go into a panel of discussions this afternoon. And of course, our ladies here have been introduced. Okay. My apologies. I think we're having a parking issue. So KCD 660H, please go and open up the space for others to move. Apologies for the parking issue. So thank you very much for having us. So today we have our panelists. They've been introduced, but I'll just allow them to just introduce themselves once more and tell us something about yourself, what you do, and what's your most difficult season taught you. So tell us something about yourself, your name, what you do, and a lesson that you learned in your most difficult time. So we'll start with Anne. As you introduce yourself, thank you.
Thank you so much, Esther. My name is Anne Juguna. I work for Britam. I'm in finance. I've been in Britam for about 4 years now. And I think my most difficult moment, that's what actually is in the book. I've been finance. And out of that, one was caught me unaware, and that really threw me off. I hit the rock bottom, and it was really painful because I was actually working out of the country and had to come back.
Celine.
Thank you, Esther. My name is Celine Omundi. I'm a banker, currently working with SBM Bank as the Regional Branch Operations Manager for Rift and Western. I am based in Kisumu. So if you see me here, I have traveled all the way. Hallelujah. Yes. So what my toughest moment in life taught me was that I got to learn that there is a different definition of success in your toughest moment. In your toughest moment, you get to learn. Like what is in the book, I have written about my toughest seasons where I really struggled financially. So I got to learn that the definition of success is not in the show-offs that we do in social media, in the trying so much to show that you got everything together. That is not the definition of success. There is a different meaning of success that you learn in your toughest moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Celine. Syombua.
Hi everyone, I'm Syombua. I'm a woman of many hats in the sports sector. I am a founder and CEO of Scare, which is a sports commercial company based here in Kenya. But as well, we work for the African continent. I just got recognized as part of the 50 most influential women in sports. This happened about a week ago, I believe. I am a country representative for quite a number of hats as well. One is a university that is an African-based university, and another is G100 under the Women Economic Forum. One of the things that I had to learn through this journey of my bounce back is the one thing that I'm still struggling with to date, and that is patience. There are times when one of my head of legal, the one thing she kept saying is, God answers questions in no, wait, or yes. I had to learn the wait part. And that I'm still struggling with the wait part. And that is because when you sit where I sit, we are people who do very quick, fast decisions. And when you have your company that is running on an African spectrum, people expect quick, fast decisions to be made on the spot. But this was a time when a quick decision would have probably destroyed the company. And so I had to wait. I had to rediscover the aspect of patience. And Up to now, I understand sometimes when the answer is wait or the answer is be still, it's for a reason.
Thank you very much. Finally.
After Syombua always feels like a task. She goes hard on everything. But I'm glad I met this group of very amazing women. Thanks, Doso, for that. My name is Catherine, as you've all heard. I'm the founder and CEO of Ajira Works, which is a HR tech company headquartered in the UK. I do have a Kenyan branch and one coming up in Uganda. So with that, I help businesses to hire, manage, and pay talent across the globe. Other than that, I do run a reinvention program. It's a coaching program that came as a result of going through a setback that shattered me a little bit, and I needed to find a way to get back. So I came up with a comeback method to help structure a way to help people such as me who felt stuck and wanted to get back and, you know, build the kind of careers that they wish to have for themselves. That's me in a nutshell.
Thank you very much. So we are listening to this wonderful ladies navigated these spaces. So thinking about what you've shared to Anne and Catherine, when life stripped you of your title, your career, your reputation, even security, what were you left with?
Let me say, and probably for those who are in corporate world, and when you start off and you started very successfully, we tend to wear our titles and they become actually our identity. But once you leave, you actually start asking yourself who you are. Because now you no longer have the identity. You can't call yourself manager this, working for this company, business cards are not there, and even the calls stop. And naturally, especially if you have left, maybe you have lost a job, naturally sometimes even friendships, you have some friends naturally falling off. And also because of shame, there are some you look at. And then you realize that you are actually alone. And before you get there, you're actually in self-denial, that you are you as Anne. You are not you as finance somebody, you are you as Anne. And you need to think of how do you start again. Sometimes it's hard, it's difficult to start off again. But again, when you have nothing to do, or when you have no other choice, you actually realize that you're actually strong enough to rebuild back. And I think rebuilding back, not unless you have got the courage to do it, and you have focus, and you look ahead, because sometimes not unless you know what you are aiming for, you might sit back and you get stuck, and you cannot rebuild again. So I think for me was like I had to focus and see what do I really want in the next maybe 1 or 2 years, and to have the courage to come out and say, I need to get back where I was. So it was a journey, and I needed to, and it's sometimes humbling because you need also to start small. Of course, it comes with time after you realize actually you have nothing to do. So I needed to start small. Even if it's going back to work or doing a business, you start from the basics. You start from the ground, and you come up again for help, because that has taught me. It's when you ask for help that people can help you. Not everybody you're meeting or talking to actually know what you're going through. Sometimes when you speak out, people will actually...
Because it points exactly to what I do with the reinvention program. That's the coaching program that I have. Now, I have built rather. Now, one of the things that happen when you go through a setback, such as what I went through, and once you read the book, you will encounter that, is your confidence shakes up a little bit. So there's a lot that you need to rebuild. Luckily, I had done a lot of inner work, and I'd like to recognize the presence of my coach, Catherine Chimechoro. Please wave. She really, I had already approached her earlier in the year around that time, that my very essence shook a little bit. And I told her, I'm feeling stuck in this current job that I'm handling. And I'm feeling a bit constrained with, yes, my current role is senior. I'm already doing what it is that people would desire to, but I'm feeling like there's a lot more that I can do with my time. I already hit the targets, but I can confidently say I was leading a team of 10, distributed team of employees across different countries. And well, we were performing quite well, but I was feeling, oh, this is not it. This cannot be it. I mean, this is basic at this point. So I needed help, and she pulled me through that. She helped me see a whole new thing that I had not worked on, and working on myself internally. So when something happened literally on the outside to try shake up my core, I leaned on, first of all, what I had already been taught. And one of the things I had to lean on was the fact that, what is my truth? Despite everything that is going on outside of me, which is now noise, what is my truth really? And that is a challenge. I believe she challenged me to that, because I leaned a lot on her. I used to call her and tell her, what, now this has happened. And she'll tell me, go back to your notes. Very strict. But yes, I recommend Catherine Shimichero highly. So another thing that I have managed to build along is the comeback method, and that's what I'm telling you about. And just to it. Now being very clear about what it is that I need to do moving forward, because owning the process is part of the bit that creates clarity for you as an individual, and then being able to realize the audacity that you need to pull from, right from your shattered self. Because at that point, I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh. Then there's the thing that there's how people perceive you, and there's how you perceive yourself. So always going back to that is very important. And just realizing that you have strength to rise from anything. Emotional intelligence is a big one. Boundaries, even bigger. I mean, if you have friends who are a consistent source of noise, and the noise is you can't be able to get out of this, those are the ones you actually shut out. You need people around you who believe in you. You need people who feel like a hug. You need people who hold you in those times. So if you have a support system, that really will help you to get out of such things.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm just following through, and you mentioned starting small. What are some of the battles you went through when you thought of starting small? You become a senior person in the organization, and now you have to start small.
Thank you. I think for people who are being out of job for some time, sometimes there's a bit of lust you get. You're not in an office space, you're not in an environment where people are working, and you tend, even when you get an opportunity probably to even do an interview, people can notice how you go through that interview. And I think for me, I searched for a job, I think for about 2 years. Those 2 years I was back to school, I was doing my MBA and all that. But again, I realized I needed to be in an office space if I really need to get back to job. And one of the things I did, I asked for an internship, unpaid internship. Okay. It was quite harrowing because actually I was working with third years or fourth years students in that internship. It was quite happening. People who are probably half of my age, or I don't know, 20% of my age. It was quite humbling and doing basic things, because you are doing basic things, but these are the things you had done long time ago. But you needed kind of a refresher to be in a space where you are feasible, to be in a space where you know what is going on. And a lot of things evolve in the workplace, and especially after COVID, a lot of things happened. The workplace changed, so I felt that I needed to be there. So I had to go back and start all over again. Yes.
Oh, thank you very much, Anne. To the audience, when you listen to Anne's story, do you feel like you are able to go back? You've risen up to that level. You're a CEO, you are a chief operations officer, and then everything comes tumbling down. Would you start as an intern to start off your career again? Think about it. Those are the bounce back stories we are talking about today. Catherine, a little vulnerability here. What are those battles that you fought?
We know we bring the CEO energy. We don't want vulnerability. Yes, but it was difficult waking up every day and just realizing that, life moved on without me. I mean, the neighbor who wants their parking space will still ask for it. It's just, they will not care that you lost a job. You have to wake up and find that, your kids are your kids. I have 2 amazing babies, and they'll wake up and still look at you like, mommy, and they're happy. They don't know that the struggle behind the scenes is that I'm mourning a position or a job loss. And I'm glad that I have a husband who actually is supportive. For him, it was about, let's see, just decide what you want to do and get back to it. That, it's difficult. I think emotionally it breaks you down because you feel like I had already built so much. Now I'm starting all over again. And there's beauty in that. And courtesy of the enough, like I said, internal work I had done. When people talk about therapy, I believe it's no longer frowned upon in this society. I believe it's something that we should really take seriously when people talk about coaching, when people talk about having support systems, people to talk to. Please take that seriously, because those are the things that make you realize I'm not alone, Other people have gone through these very things, and they actually give you stories and pick you up. So that is one of the things that I did.
Thank you very much. These are normal women having gone through normal situations in life and allowing themselves to bounce back. Thank you, Catherine. Celine, many Kenyans have faced financial challenges. And thinking about COVID, personally, our business went down, tumbling down from, I don't want to mention the amount of money, but all the way down. So when you think about financial strain that many people go through, debts, businesses coming down, income loss, what would you advise families right now? What are those practical steps that people should take to stay afloat?
Thank you, Esther, for that question. One thing that I have come to realize is that there's a lot of fear around finances. And so many times you find that even in the corporate corridors, you find very smartly dressed people are actually struggling in the finances. And people do struggle, and they really fear what will people say, the fear of you want to protect a name, the fear of people will say, like, you have nothing to show for it. So I understand that part. There is a lot of fear. But for you to rise out of that situation, you have to be very, very whole thing that helped me out of financial struggles is being very brutally honest with myself. And by being brutally honest about my situation and with myself, I listed all the incomes that I was having and all the expenses. And when you list all your expenses, you're able to note that there are those that you do not need, and they are the ones that maybe are draining you or are dragging you behind. Number 2 practical step that I can say I also really worked for me, and I would want to speak it out to somebody else listening to me right now. is seeking out for help. And in my story, seeking out for help meant that I had to seek out for accountability partners. And my accountability partner was a colleague that I really felt, I just became so vulnerable to her, and I shared my story with her. And I told her everything, and she actually helped me to plan. And out of that, I came out strong, and I thank God that I was very strong enough to be vulnerable to somebody, to share my story with them so that they're able to help me out. And you never know out there, you could actually be walking around with somebody that can actually help you if you can actually just open up and own your story and tell them. Number three practical step I could also talk about is celebrating the small wins, as my co-author and as stated. Saving and investing is not get rich quick kind of a journey. It is not actually easy. If you can imagine, when somebody tells you today that just save the 2,000, and that 2,000 is in that account, and you're feeling like, sasa hii 2,000, chop your money. If you cannot buy a bag of cement, chop the money. You see, you keep telling yourself that, yeah? Chop that money. So it's actually very painstaking, and if you're not very intentional, and if you do not celebrate yourself, if you do not motivate yourself, if that motivation does not come right from within you, it is very, very hard to even be able to come out of that situation. The other way or practical step maybe I would talk about is prayer. Prayer has really helped me. It has really created a lot of clarity. And one thing I would tell you is that fear has a way of thriving where there is no clarity. When you do not have clarity, there's a lot of fear because you fear the future, you fear everything around you. So prayer, taking it to God one step at a time, has really helped me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saline, for those clear, practical steps to take when you're in a downfall. Is there anything that you learned along the way, or a mistake that you did along the way that really taught you a great lesson in your finances?
One greatest mistake that I want to share with everyone. I actually had this mentality that finances have similar seasons. Like if I had money yesterday, I'll still have the money. Yeah? You remember the story of Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh, where he dreamt about the fat cows, lean cows, yeah, and that was actually talking about the seasons of lack and the seasons of abundance. Yeah, there were seasons that the land of Egypt was going to actually have abundance, and there were seasons that the land of Egypt was going to have real abundance, yeah, abundance and lack. So actually finances are like that, because you will never have money all the time. You'll never walk in abundance all the time. But when you have it in abundance, make some good use out of it. So the number one mistake I would talk about is not realizing that finances have different seasons. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. And there she takes us to the Bible. Yeah, the story of Joseph. Thank you very much. Syombua, when betrayal and systems failure brought down your sports enterprise, it's natural for anyone to be bitter. You did not. Why? And what did you do in that space?
Thank you so much for that. You see, here's the thing. When you take it personally to build a company from the ground up, there's one thing I told myself when we started the organization. There's no plan B, which means we are stuck with this company and it must work. Now, we had a fantastic couple of years. I work in an industry that a lot of times we deal with blind, a lot of times we're dealing with just, we don't know who we're interacting with, but we interact with them. So we work with blind faith a lot. And that's because we don't have the aspect of being at every country, every single time, flying everywhere to be able to work on. So a lot of times it's partnerships, and the partnerships are through blind trust. Now, on my end, the blind trust did come to burn, and that was on the Kenyan side. And because of that, if you've ever trended on social media, you will know. You will see aspects of yourself, you will read aspects of yourself. You will be so intrigued, you're like, I want to meet this person. You don't even remember who you're reading about, it's yourself. And I got that aspect. And the thing about being a woman in a sports industry, which is a male-dominated industry through and through, for you to trend, everybody knows who you are. You see, I'm in corporate, and that's because I cannot kick a ball to save my life. And so I found a purpose behind the scenes. The people you don't get to see at all. Everyone goes to watch, when you go to watch a football match, you look at the 11 players on the pitch. Everybody knows the 11 players on the pitch. But you do not know who's running the scenes, and that is us, the people who make sure systems work. We are the movers and shakers. And so for me, what happened was a blind trust came and hit us, and we trended to a point where you really want to respond, but you're being told do not respond. Just gather your evidence and keep quiet. I am not known to keep quiet, I'm in sports. And so it was an insane couple of months to just try and navigate these waters of everybody saying everything about you. People you've never met are speaking about you. And I'm not saying you go Google right now, read in the book. But what happened was, eventually you still have to trust. And building that company from the ground up is a whole other situation, but you definitely need a community around you. You need the team that we started with, that believed in our mission, that believed in the vision that we were going through. And I got myself a good number of mentors, and that's where the shift changed. Because I think it was about 6 months of a lot of noise, and we had to go back behind the scene and be quiet for 6 months before we were even able to speak. And interestingly enough, the first time I've spoken about this incident is the book there's a chapter that I've written.
Interesting. How did you hold back with your personality?
It took Jesus.
It took Jesus. Being told, wait,
Keep
don't
quiet.
respond, don't talk, keep your evidence.
You know, it's interesting because, again, even on socials, I'm quite popular. And so it's very difficult for you to continue, and every feedback you post is, can you address this? Mm-hmm. And you can't address it because the legal team has told you to keep quiet. I was basically given a gag order by my own team that told me, keep quiet, don't say anything, let's watch. Mm. So one of the things I had to navigate was one thing that my mentor actually told me, and he asked me, is this really the path where you want to be? And during that conversation is when I realized that what I wanted to do the most is not what I was doing at the time. Okay. And so that became where I started having the conversation of where I want the company to be in the next 10 years. And that is, through that, I started having a conversation on what commercial sports is, why are we supposed to be why is it important, and why is it important to Africa? And that is what shifted the conversation from me being the trender and the company trending to now everybody looking at what we are currently doing and everybody interested in the conversation in regards to work.
Thank you very much. As she talks about that inner work for the company, and that also applies to our individual lives. I would want Catherine to just join in. When you faced betrayal, when you faced system challenges at your workplace and betrayal and finally losing your job, what made you not hold back? What made you, and what were your first steps to recovery that we are seeing now are very... bounced back individual.
The gaps are that I think I had outsourced so much trust to individuals as compared to systems. And for me, that particular, being fired and over something that you shouldn't be fired over if I'm to be honest, you'll see it in the book. And then going and just realizing that someone somewhere knew the truth, but they couldn't speak on it. It's one of the things that just really renders you, other than the fact that it hurt, you're now alert to the fact that you can't just trust everybody. You can't outsource that trust. You have to believe and put some trust on systems. So what gave me the strength to now bounce back is the realization that there's still a lot of work to be done here. There's still such big gaps, especially in the area where I'm in. That's payroll management, HR tech, the kind of tech that is in the market. How solid is it, or how firm is it that nobody else can fall into the same things that I've fallen into? And that shifts your mindset. You now start thinking in terms of, what can I do to create and build systems and structures that actually work for people who've been in my shoes before, for professionals who work in the payroll space, HR space, professionals who are trusted with whatever I have been entrusted with in the past. How do I curate or create a space or structures or systems that now help such people? For me now, that was the thing that changed my mindset completely. And that is what engineered my comeback. Because I stopped asking myself, well, why did this happen to me? And shifted the question to, what do I need to do to help a person like me, or rather a person who's fallen in something similar to my scenario, just pick themselves up and find a system to build themselves back up. And I'm going to talk about, just give you a breakdown of the comeback method that I created. It's a breakdown of, it's an acronym actually, that stands for clarity, ownership, mindset shift, emotional intelligence, boundaries, audacity, career repositioning, and a kickstart. You're looking at such a person who's feeling either stuck in a workplace. There's something that when Syombua spoke, when she was giving her speech, and she asked everybody to just close their eyes, and she read out several things that might be rendering anybody stuck at the moment. And that particular comeback is what has informed the reinvention program, which is one of the things that helps such people. You're feeling stuck because something happened to you that is so life-shattering. And actually, Clemencia spoke about how mistakes are not, they're considered to be those things that are not supposed to happen in this particular country. I think you're dragged so much, not over your lessons, but over that one mistake that you did. And one of the things that you learn is you do not have to stay down. There's a system that you can use to get back up. I like the way our parents lean on prayer, and even us, we obviously lean on prayer, and someone just tells you, pray about it. I don't think it's enough to pray about it. You can pick up on to what happened. Be very clear about the things that you need to change in order to come back and rise up, and do not stay stuck in whatever it is that kept you down in the first place.
Wow, isn't that a masterclass? Yes, and I think just to follow up on what you've said, when we go through issues, coming up with a system that will help other people not to go through the same challenge is a very good gift we can give to the next generation. And thank you very much for making that very loud and clear. So for someone who wants to rebuild their life after being burned by people, they want to build their trust. We've talked about they learn to trust again without being naive. Yes.
I go first?
Yes.
Right. I remember when Radido Doso gave a speech, or rather the opening remarks, he asked a question that I don't think anyone has answered yet, where he asked whether it's the same method that you use to actually get out of anything else that you encounter. And yes, you might be going through entirely different scenarios, and in this case you've spoken about someone breaking your trust, but I feel, I strongly recommend the same method, whether it's the same, whether it's different scenarios. It's just how you restructure it to cover the particular scenario. When I talk about the comeback method, that particular acronym that I keep detailing, I've spoken about clarity. First, be very clear. What is the issue? It is broken trust. Ownership. What is it that was my contribution here? Did I trust this person too much? Was there an agreed, rule or plan as to how we should operate, and now they've crossed it? Because if there was none, then you probably are blaming the person for no particular reason. Maybe they did not know how to work with you or to operate around you. I strongly believe the process is the same. It's just how you structure it to fit your particular scenario. Getting back up or rising again is a process, and there's a system to help you do that. All the lovely ladies who are here have different stories, and they keep pointing out to emotional intelligence, they keep pointing out to boundaries, they keep pointing out to a particular thing that they leaned on. But then the other thing they have absolutely inculcated is just checking the inner selves and spirituality and leaning back on prayer. And because sometimes when there's no one else to support you, it's good to look inside and to look at your creator. So you the next step. So there's that part when it comes to spirituality, but then also lean on structure. Look at what your contribution was to any issue. Look at, am I clear about the current issue that I'm going through? And then now, I will tell you, allow me to give a short story about Oprah. I'm going to give a very common case study. Oprah Winfrey, at some point, was fired from national television. And it was argued that she's too emotional, she cannot handle TV. And then what did she do to get back up? She doubled down on that very emotion and built the talk show. And she had the audacity to go out and to keep doing what it is that her heart was calling her to do. So everybody is called to do something. It's just for you to be audacious enough to chase it. It's for you to realize that there's a specific blueprint for you, and you should follow it. And how do you know your blueprint? Lean on prayer. But other than prayer, there's a structure. Do not stay down too long. Pick yourself up. Talk to people. Build a community around yourself. Isolation is not a solution. Saying, let me leave social media, for instance, would never be a solution for our lovely lady here. And I like the fact that, she got back in there, because visibility is safety. Let someone know I actually changed tact. Yes, I was known for this, but now I'm known for this, and this is what I do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine, for that clear elaboration. Building systems around you, prayer, not forgetting prayer, of course, and build a community. Don't be alone. alone, when you're alone, you are easy target for the enemy. It's very easy for you to be a prey, so don't be alone. Thank you very much. Syombua, in the male-dominated career path that you are in, I understand there are biases and there could be politics in there. What helps you to keep and stay and be yourself?
One, there's one thing that I learned from one of my mentors. And the one thing she said was, she got to the position where she was so that she can open doors for the other women to walk in. She went through all the challenges to get there so that now the women who are behind her no longer have to go through those challenges. And I took that for myself. Because we are not many when it comes, especially in the commercial sector. We do not have as many women as we want. We've opened a university where we can train the women who are coming after us to now be even better than us. Because this is the only way we can allow, not only, it cannot die with me. So I'm going to pull everybody else who wants to come in, and those who I need to push to get in there, to get in there. Because there's one thing that we need to understand, and especially in the sports sector. As women, we don't have a voice. And yet we have women athletes. But you can't sit in a room and listen to the men having a discussion on what we need to do with the women athletes, and they've no idea what we're going through. So the ladies have to come to those seats, we have to come to those tables. But for our voices to be louder, we have to have numbers. So for me, it is about being able to bring in as many women so that we are seated on those seats and in those boardrooms, and we are able to change the conversation.
Thank you very much, Syombua, creating space for those who come after us. And as we come to the end, I just want to ask the panelists a question each. I'll start with Anne. What's one lie about failure people must stop believing today? A lie about failure that people must stop believing today.
I think one of the things is that when society, there's a lot of expectations in society, and especially on what you are supposed to be doing at what age. It's never too late to start all over again. And I like what you said about Kentucky, KFC. The founder founded at age 60. So it's never too late to start again. So even if you fail, you can start again, and you never know. Your next phase might be much better than where you stopped at. Yes.
Thank you very much. It's never late. You can always start again. Thank you, Anne. Celine, what's one mindset shift that saved you when you're in your lowest point?
Number one mindset shift that I would talk about is I relieved myself of the pressure of expectation from people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a way somebody expects, this is a bank manager, like, how can he not afford this? You see, the pressure of expectation from people is a killer, and that is a mindset shift that I embraced. Thank you.
Wow. Expectations from society. How many of us have expectations from society and we really struggle to please society? Yet you're only living your life. Remember that you're only living your life, so expectations from the society will not add money to your bank account to take care of those things that other people are actually able to do. Syombua, a habit that helped you bounce back?
There's something that I do quite often, and that is I call myself to a meeting. Uh-huh. So I usually call I call it the me, myself, and I. We have to sit down and have a conversation, the three of us. Mm. And this is three voices in me that to discuss what is happening and allow the three voices to have a voice. And I think it's the only way to be able to call in yourself. Because sometimes you have to call yourself for a meeting. You know, you have to allow yourself to call yourself for a meeting. All the other voices are good, but at the end of the day, you have to call yourself for a meeting and ask yourself, now, sasa tutafanya nini? Yes.
Wow, thank you. Having your own boardroom, you must be accountable to yourself. And finally, Catherine, one sentence that you wish someone told you earlier.
It is not the end. As long as you're still living and breathing, it is not the end. If you wake up tomorrow after an incident today, just know that is the sign for you to move forward.
Thank you very much. It's not the end. So as we come to the end of our panel discussion, I want to say thank you very much to these lovely ladies for the insightful points you've told us this afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. And thank you so much, audience, for listening to us. Thank you very much, and God bless you.